Indlela leyo mixerwa Vision FM hiloko nghena ka nongonoko madyambe namuntlha streams of live on Vision FM with Pastor Strike lava ku mi amukela hinkwenu vayingiseri va Vision FM hinkwako laha mi nga kona madyambe namuntlha ni karhi ni ku riperile xana mi dzumbe njhani ke hi khensa xikwembu hi nyiko ya vutomi hi khensa xikwembu hi ku hlayiseka emadyambyeni yo fana ni lawa ni mi amukela n'wina ka 88.5 megahertz 90.0 megahertz 101.7 megahertz 92.8 megahertz na n'wina vanghana va hina lava mi nga na hina aka Facebook Strike Manganyi page hambi ku ri yona Vision FM page kasi na mi amukela na n'wina mi yingisela ka audio streaming www.visionfm.co.za riperile ni ku mi amukela hinkwenu madyambu ya kahle hi khensa xikwembu tanihi laha ni vulaka ha kona hi nyiko ya vutomi enkarhini loyi hanyaka wona mixer wa Vision FM ta pfumelana na mina leswaku hayi i tintswalo ho pfuxiwa a hi ti pfukeli hi hexe kambe ho pfuxiwa hi musa ni tintswalo ta xikwembu lava khensa swinene ni ku mi amukela hinkwenu nongonoko i streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike kasi a hi pfumali vayeni eka streams of life enkarhini lowu hi nga eka wona nkarhi lowu ni pfumelaka leswaku wa tlhontlha swinene hi kuma vayeni lava hi pfumelaka leswaku loko va ta va vulavula na vutomi bya hina va hoxa xandla eka ku hi khutaza va hoxa xandla aka ku hi byela leswaku hambiloko swi te taniwani loko xikwembu xa hi nyike vutomi a hi hanyeni naswona a hi endleni swin'wani leswi tisaka ku hambana kumbe leswi tisaka ku antswa eka vutomi bya van'wanyani vanhu khensi swinene Adonai Street ku va mi ni nyike tintambu Councilman Bishop ku va mi ni nyike tintambu haleni a studio xa Vision FM ePolokwane kasi vayingiseri va Vision FM ni tsakile ku va na n'wina madyambe namuntlha ni pfumela leswaku hi ta famba swin'we hi tiphina swinene ni lava ku mi amukela vanghana va hina eka Facebook lava already mi koteke ku va mi tuna in khensa swinene ka ku va hi ri swin'we and madyambe namuntlha ni pfumeleni ni vula leswaku emyeni wa hina i manani i ngamu ya munhu i manani wa ndyangu hala tlhelo i social worker and i social worker leyi yi ti tirhelaka kumbe yi tiyimeleka ha yoxe laha hi vulavulaka hi private social worker kasi hala tlhelo i mutsari i manani loyi hi vulavulaka hi yena hala tlhelo manani loyi hi vulavulaka yena i n'wambhuri loko hi vulavula hi Miss South Africa hi ta twa i timhaka ta Miss South Africa emadyambyeni namuntlha i manani loyi loko hi langutisa riendzo ra vutomi bya yena hi tlhela hi langutisa neka timhaka ta tidyondzo ta yena a endleke bi social work ya yena na University of Johannesburg kasi a tlhela endla EAP ya yena na University of Unisa sweswi u busy na masters ya yena aka occupational social work na Wits University kasi mingizeri wa kahle u endle swo talatala kasi hi vulavula na timhaka ta IT technical support kasi hi vulavula na kambe timhaka ta SACSP hi vulavula hi employee assistant programs leti a ti endleke na Unisa kasi hala tlhelo i kumeka a ri manani loyi a nga aka YALI network la a nga na certificate ya YALI kasi mingizeri wa kahle loko hi langutisa migingiriko ya yena na leswi a swi tsakelaka ngopfu i manani loyi loko hi vulavula timhaka ta ku tihlayisa ka vanhu timhaka ta rihanyo ra kahle ra miehleketo timhaka ta advocacy a nga mani loyi a nga amahlweni swinene ni loko hi langutisa eka timhaka ta ku pfuna ka vanhu lava va kumekaka va bohiwile swidzidziharisi loko hi vulavula hi rehabilitation kasi nakambe i manani loyi a rhangisaka emahlweni timhaka ta timfanelo ta ximunhu kasi i manani loyi nakambe a nga amahlweni loko hi vulavula hi timhaka ta ku ambexiwa ka vamanani hi vulavula hi women empowerment and leadership i manani loyi a nga xikarhi ka sweswo mingizeri wa kahle wa Vision FM manani loyi nakambe hi vulavula hi manani loyi a nga semi-finalist wa Mrs South Africa 2021 mingizeri wa kahle wa Vision FM mina ni ku amukerisa xilo leswiwani ni karhi ni pfumela leswaku mina na wena hi ta tiphina swinene emadyambyeni namuntlha i mani manani loyiwani loko nga ri yena makwerhu MBALI MISIMEKI. Sis Bali, you're welcome to Streams of Life. Good evening and welcome to you. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to host you tonight.
Thank you, Pastor Manganyi, for hosting me. I feel very honored, and good evening to all your viewers all across the platforms available to us.
Thank you so very much, Sis MBALI. It's really an honor to host you. Re leboha Modimo ka mpho ya bophelo. Sibonga uNkulunkulu ngempilo. You know, one thing that is beautiful about South Africa, habalabula, riabua, and then Kastswana, by the way, le king. But because na ke tlakantsha Sepedi, Setswana, ke tlakantsha le Selobedi. Ka Setswana le re le a bolela or le dira jwang? Okay, I can see you got muted there. Let me unmute you. Sis MBALI. Yeah, you're okay now. You are okay.
I think I missed the first part of what you were saying, because maybe there's a network interference or something.
Okay, Nekiri,
Yeah.
you know, South Africa is a beautiful country in that abalabula Xitsonga, siyakhuluma isiZulu, riabulela or riabua Sepedi, Setswana liabua or liabulela. Don't stress. You are okay. Don't stress with your platform there. You are just okay. If you can hear me, just let's just get moving. Everything's okay. You are fine. Can you hear me?
I think the issue from my side is I hear you bits and pieces. So yeah, kata in between. I'm not hearing your full sentences. So I'm struggling to hear what exactly you are saying fully.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how is it now? Am I audible now? Am I better now? Or is it still cutting?
It's still cutting. So I would hear you, but it would cut your sentences. So I wouldn't hear the full word that you're saying or the full sentence that you're saying.
Okay. And then, but how is your connectivity? How is your network? Is it okay?
Seems good on my side.
Yeah, because this side also, I am just fine. I don't know why I am cutting. Is it getting better? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sis MBALI?
So you are frozen now.
Am I frozen? Let me ask my technician also to check.
It's a network that is freezing. It's not your network, because from my side you're loud and clear. If she could maybe change the network, would be much better then.
Okay, Sis MBALI, if you could maybe do something on the network, because this side it's like I'm just fine. Kasi loko akari from so erkari lungisa mingserwa kahlwa Vision FM fumele soko hi this is streams of life on Vision FM, nasona this is the voice of hope and the source of knowledge. Vision FM, that's where you are at.
Eka vaingiseri vo rhandzeka va Vision FM hi mi tivisa leswaku n'wamune na sonta hi ta mi tlangela vunanga bya gospel ntsena. Mina ni vona ku inyana so. Mire dina a 1 a 2 a 3 a 4. Strictly gospel.
Laba khensa swinene inongonoko Streams of Life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. Leyiwani Vision FM, the voice of hope and the source of knowledge. Laba khensa barandi ni basekretary ba nongonoko Streams of Life. Kasi lahawani nile ka Facebook ni bona abantu bari na hina ni bona Pastor Gertrude Sibuyi ba Virginia Manganyi ni bona ba Pastor Leonard Nkuna Makhasago Mtombeni, and then Kensani Chimbane, and then Skubet Mahlaule Malibatsi Moholola, thank you, and then Kate Rangan Mangani, and then Wana Pastor Joylin, and then Wana Nakambe Patience Mhlongo, Tlamalani Ngoma Nitsakani Macheke, Isaac Mahaha, Gertrude Spoila, Patience Mhlongo, Zodwa Mabunda. Thank you, family. Kubai Resume Kanangonoko Streams of Life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. And Fumela Stanley Swako, Mitamseke Kahle, Squembu Shimfly Silica, Loco, Calarpella Rukutani, Ukensa Squembu, Kensa Tomi, Lepsi Nikwekebzona, Squemblesha Matilo, Squemblesha Kahle, Nishkar Kanyimpia COVID-19, Shai Tlaisa, Shai Vikela, you know. Tsakela leswi mfundhisi Ntsako Maluleke batala ku swivula loko hi pfuxelana na professor kokwani Xipalana bata ku hi pfuxiwile i ntiyiso wo pfuxiwa wena mingiseri wa Vision FM a wo ti pfuxa kambe wo pfuxiwa hi Musa ni tintswalo ta Xikwembu, kasi mingiseri wa kahle wa Vision FM loko hi pfuxiwile, loko hi hlayisekile, ri kala ri pela ri kutani hi khensa Xikwembu, hi dyondzisa Xikwembu, hi tlakusa vukulu bya xona, hi ri wo fana na xona a nga kona. Ni madyambe namuntlha ni pfumela leswaku mingiseri wa kahle wa Vision FM nongonoko Streams of Life wu ta ku khutaza, wu ta ku tlakula, wu ta ku veka kun'wana, wo nitwa loko manana MISIMEKI ba kota ku nitwa kahle loko hi karhi hi famba swin'we madyambe namuntlha. Says MBALI, am I audible? Are you able to hear me clear?
Yes, clearly, much better now. Thank you, Pastor Bangai.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate if you could shift just a little bit to my, is it your left? Or, yeah, just a little bit. Thank you so very much. I just want to start, it's MBALI MISIMEKI.
Yes.
We have MISIMEKI in Xitsonga. Is it this MISIMEKI, is it Zulu or is it Tswana, if I may ask?
So the MISIMEKI surname is actually Tsonga.
Yes.
It's my husband's surname. So my maiden surname is Mapila. Yes, but then I got married into the MISIMEKI family, who are apparently Tsonga, but being raised as Zulus. So it's a whole long, complicated family history. But yeah.
No. I would say that's who we are as Africans. We you find the Xhosa in Tsonga, you find the Xhosa also in Zulu. We are just one people, and MISIMEKI, yes, that's why I say MISIMEKI is it Tsonga, because we have MISIMEKI in Xitsonga, and then I know Ubaba's Fiso Ukhulume Zulu manje. I just wanted that clarity, but that being the case, it's not Kumblikaya, but it just tells us we as South Africans, we are one big family. And welcome to the program Streams of Life, and thank you so very much for giving us an opportunity to be in conversation with you on Streams of Life.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mangai. I feel really honored to be part of this. Thank you for having me over. I know that it will be great. I'm looking forward to the positive conversation, great impact, and yes, I am slightly a little bit nervous, but I hope I will get through with it as we progress.
Thank you so very much. And then if I may ask MBALI, if you could tell us about yourself, before you got married to the MISIMEKI, you are Tswana. But Tswana, by the way, Babulela or Liabulela ka Setswana?
Liabua. Yes.
Liabua ka Setswana. Now o ka re tlhalosetsa eng ka family ya gaeno, What is it that you could love to share with us about this family that brought us this great and awesome woman that you have become?
Yes, so I'm very blessed, Maruti Mangaini, because I'm a girl who was raised and born in Soweto, from the Mapila family. That's the maternal part of my family. And growing up, it's a very united family. I was raised by my mom. Unfortunately, my dad was not there growing up because then they were never married to mama. So then I was raised by my mom's family with my mom, with the help from my aunts, extended family members. But when they say "Ngwana o hodiswa ke setjhaba," the community, I really experienced that in my life. Ke godisitswe ka lerato from Kontlung, and I was given the basic principles for surviving in life. Grew up in a Christian home, and of course there's a lot of diversity at home, but a lot of principles that are instilled in me were that of Christianity, because mama inele mudumedi inele mme o kenang kereke, very disciplined. My mom was very strict on me. I used to have 2 siblings. I'm the eldest within the family, the immediate family. Unfortunately, my younger sister passed away, and I'm now left with myself and my younger brother, and Mama Lena. Unfortunately, she passed away when I was 21 years old. But then even in her passing, I wasn't left alone. I was taken into the care by my uncle and my aunt, Familia Hamative. They took good care of me, continued to instill those positive values. And I don't have any childhood traumas growing up, because I was really surrounded by Lerato from Kontlung. I've got, in my family, I don't know what a cousin is. It's all brothers and sisters, because that's how we are raised as Africans. And so growing up was very interesting, and yes.
And with all those dynamics, my mom's soul and your sister's soul, rest in peace. These are issues that we are confronted with in life. But I love the fact that you say, growing up in a family, an African family, it's a caring family. In fact, the concept of orphanages is not African, because na mo Africa re a tlhokomelana le a ngwana a ka latlhelwa ke batswadi, re ba gona bo mamogolo, bo rangwane, bo ragadi, all of us we gang around. Maybe hence the proverb, it takes the whole community to raise a child. Le ba ka mo next door, ke mme, ke papa, we respect them as such, and which I think is a very beautiful thing, even though ka dilo tse dintsi today, le ka violence e leng gona, le ka di abuses today, it sort of fades away. That support structure ya family, ya gore hona le bo malume, hona le bo mangma, gore it was so strong that sometimes you'll grow up but the love, the care, like you say. And I just want to ask, is this why you were inspired to do social work, or where did social work come from?
Okay. It's so amazing, because I always wanted to be a social worker. And this goes back to being in a daycare crèche as a young girl. We used to have role plays, and then you would be dressed in your aspiring future career choice.
Yes.
And I remember Nekikanako Tswelelang daycare. When I was still a very young girl, maybe I was about 5, 6 before I went into primary. And I remember this so well, and I even have pictures of that where I was role playing as a social worker, dressed like a social worker, wearing my wig. And that has always been in my heart. Even though when I went to school, high school, I did my science subjects. At some point wanted to be an engineer and do a career, the STEM career, you know, your science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But I always knew, deep down in my heart, I want to be a social worker. I want to impact change. I want to be directly involved in the lives of people in South Africa. And I want that skill. You know, I want to be able to be the change agent in my community. So when I went to apply in university, like you have highlighted, I did technical support. And I excelled. First year of that, I was at Ket Academy, it's a college. I excelled. I was a top performing student in that. And what I would have decided to do was to pursue a career in information technology and further that. But I decided, as much as I did very well, this is not for me. This is not me. I then went to UJ and I enrolled for social work. And you know, Pastor Mangani, how this whole happened, I think it's, you know, this was what God really wanted me to do from the onset. How I got admitted at UJ is a miracle in its own. I woke up, I went to the Department of Social Development. At the time, there was still an administrator, and Dr. David Khasaho. Unfortunately, he's no longer with the department. He's somewhere else. I went there, I spoke to him. I went directly to him, not knowing him, very first time being there. And I just told him, I want to study social work. This is what I want to do. Here are my metric results. He was like, okay, fine. We have a scholarship for you, but have you applied? Because process, you should have been accepted before, and then we give you a sponsorship. I had not applied at that moment. I had not been to UJ for social work studies or anything like that. And he just phoned the people at the faculty humanities, told them, we've got this young girl here. She has not applied. It was on the 31st of January, 2011. By that time, you would know that registration applications have closed. It's actually registration periods. And it was the last day of registration. He phoned them, and I remember very well, the lady that I spoke to was Sisi Amkelwa. And Sisi Amkelwa just said, no, just come through. If you qualify, bring your results and we'll sort you out. So it was a done deal. You know, I went to UJ. I did not have to queue to register. I did not have to queue to apply. I just went straight into the dean's office, spoke to Sisi Amkelwa, and I was accepted. I qualified to get into the program. And since that day, it resonated so much with me. It spoke to me. It's who I am as an individual. And I've been, I can safely say, doing well. I'm very passionate about it. And I'm so fulfilled. It feels right. It feels like this is it for me.
You know, so, yes. At the very same time, when you talk information technology, you know, that's where money is, especially in the fourth industrial revolution. And when you talk of humanities, it's not that much of money, more especially if one is to work as a social worker and in government. It's not that much paying. But what can you say to somebody who, you know, battle with that? Because there's marketable courses, we say, you know, lucrative type of courses where you make money, but there's exactly who you are. And with you, you know, when you talk of information technology, you are doing well, but you chose to follow your heart. What can you say to somebody who's battling with that, more especially to the school going, you know, the matriculants, you know, even those that are at varsity level? Sometimes you are in institutions of higher learning, but you feel, I'm forcing a square peg into a round hole. But they say,
Yeah.
With your experience, what can you say to somebody who's battling with that?
Yeah. So based on my experience, of course, I would say if your vision only concerns you, then you haven't figured out your life purpose. So literally, there is money everywhere. However, when you're choosing a career, for me, based on my experience, it's beyond money. It's beyond what you can get from it. In essence, it's more about what is it that you can give. I mean, there's so many people in lucrative careers, you know, as they would say, but they are not happy. They are not fulfilled. There isn't anything that keeps them going apart from the package at the end of the month. And I'm not saying that you should not leave, you should not have personal goals, you should not have attain material things. It's all good and well. With social work, it's a career that will equip you with so much skills that you're not only limited to an option of being employed by the government. There's so many ways that you can spread your wings, utilize your skills, be impactful, and be entrepreneurial with the profession. For instance, when I started working, I started working in government within the Department of Social Development. However, I was able to utilize the skill sets, the expertise that I have as a social worker to start my own private practice where I offer psychosocial services to private companies, to corporates, where I can now monetize my skill and I can, you know, showcase my entrepreneurial side as well. So over and above money, over and above the fanciness of the job, it has to resonate with your life, with your purpose, to say, should you wake me up at 3 a.m. to do this job that I'm doing? Will I still wake up? You know, should someone be in dire need? Should motu atloke and they are unable to pay me, but they need my services? Can I still be able to help them? And I would say yes. You know, you wake me up at any time and there's a client who's in need, I will still wake up, because for me, social work is not just a career, but it's my life purpose. Being able to impact an individual, families, and different communities. That for me fulfills me. And believe you me, God will provide for you, because God is the one who predestined this for you to say, MBALI, this is the journey that I want you to take. And you will never go hungry, because it's within the plan of God for your life. And there's so many opportunities within social work. You don't just have to work in child and welfare setups, but now with the fourth industrial revolution, with the COVID pandemic, with so many psychosocial issues, even within the workplace, you can structure yourself and, you know, study further, develop yourself further as a social worker and offer relevant services in all organizations. So I'm of the view that I'm going on and on.
I can see. That's who you are. Social work.
Yeah.
I can get fixed and cancel you on
the spot.
Yeah, on the spot. You know, that's the beauty of doing what you represent, what you are. You know, it takes me back to when I was doing then Standard 4, they would say it's grade 6 now. I asked my mom, and amazingly, mara ke botsa mama gore ke be moruti ke direng na, you know, and the mohekula, no, we are sekolong ngwana kwa fetsa sekolo wa dira boruti. You know, and when we talk of metric back then, they lu fetsa sekolo ka dikolo nyana tse di leng gona mo ga e ke di feditse jana. Now I can go and do whatever. But that's so beautiful, and it's so amazing again to realize gore modimo o a re director le ha re le ba banyane le ha re sa, you know, even if risikerekeng, mara somehow modimo consent ka maphelo a rona o a re director. And then ha re ka ikreya, if you find yourself, you know what, you just flow. And true, then it's not about the money, it's not about all that, but it's about, this is me. You wake me anytime, I will really do this smiling. And of course, money will follow it, one of my mentors who said, I do what I love and I love what I do. And I'm surprised people are paying me for that.
Exactly.
I'm having fun and they are paying me for having fun. So
Yes.
really, it's so beautiful. Allow me to just take this commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Vision FM, nongonoko streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Striker Sila ile kubuleni na yena Manani MBALI MISIMEKI loyi riendzo ra yena ri tsakisaka swinene and i dyondzaka swo tala hi riendzo ra yena. A hi hundzeni la.
Dumelang, lebitso la ka ke Matilda Matibe, ke dila mo Pimbi. Nna ke mamogolo wa MBALI. Ne ke batla go bua ka MBALI. MBALI ke ngwana o ithobileng, ke ngwana o lerato, o ile a ba le mamello, a kena sekolo, a ba a se fetsa, a ba etsa course ana batla go etsa, a e fetsa. Ke mo lebogisa ka gore a tswelle pele ka tshebetso ya gagwe ya e sebetsang, a dule a ntse a thusa batho. O ile a ba le pelo e telele go fetsa course tsa gagwe, a ba thola le molekane, ba be ba thola le ngwana. Ntho e ke tla mmolellang yone gore a dule a ntse a le fela yalo, a ska ba a change, a dule a na le lerato mo batho ba ba thusang ka mosebetsi a o sebetsang o, a be le pelo e telele, Modimo a be le yene.
Sirboranzeka ba Vision FM hi mi tivisa leswaku Wavumune na Sonta hi ta mitlangela vunanga bya gospel ntsena. Mina ni vona ku inyana so. Mira dina a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Strictly gospel. Gospel music, it's our Vision FM. Ndakutengela tinsimu leti nga ta tlakusa moya wa wena. U ta kateka, u katekile. Na Sonta ntsena eka Vision FM.
Good evening. My name is Matabo Mkhatle. I appreciate the opportunity given to speak about Balentle, Balesa, my Putzi, as I fondly used to call her when she was a baby. Bali, I'm truly, truly blessed to have you as a sister. Young as you are, I have learned so much from you. A homemaker and very resourceful young woman. You live your life with purpose and diligence. You always serve with love and kindness. You are not apologetic about serving your master, the one true God. May you continue to be a good role model. I know most of the young ones in the family look up to you, and you are a beacon of light for them. May you shine in everything you do, and may God Almighty continue to fill your cup and shine in everything you do. I'm really, really proud of you. And don't dim your light for anyone or anything. Ke go rata lerato, my baby. Love you much.
So coming to Vision FM. Nongonoko streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. Mina is MBALI MISIMEKI kari famba kahle. Mfumele leswaku ile ku komeni swin'wana emadyambyini namuntlha ntsena hi ku yingisela riendzo ra vutomi bya yena laha hi n'wi tlangelaka, kambe loko hi karhi hi n'wi tlangela hi lava ku dyondza swo tala. Ku ni swo tala leswi already a nga swi vula leswi ni nga ta lava hi vuya aka swona, leswi ni pfumelaka leswaku swi ta hi khutaza swinene. Ni vona Pastor Joelin va ku powerful, true, very powerful. And when she talks about entrepreneurship and then using your profession and be entrepreneurial right in your what do we call it, in your career in life, even though yi nga vuriwa tin'wana ta leti i nga tirhaka kun'wana kambe u swi kota ku va u huma u ya kota ku ti endlela swa wena. Mhaka ya kahle swinene. So Mbali, we try to bring family because at the very same time this evening we just want to celebrate you and tell you, look, you are really making a contribution. You are making a difference in the lives of other people. Like you started counseling me a few minutes ago. What can you say about what Mama Holo is saying and Mama Matabo Mahat?
I'm so blessed to have them. I'm so happy, and it was unexpected. It's a pleasant surprise. Like I said, Moruti, when we started to say, I was raised in a family full of love, where I don't know really what is it to be a child in need, and Mama Holoki Mama to me, because then she immediately stepped in. Even when Mama was still alive, she has been a mom to me. She has been, and I always refer her to Mama, and most people know her as Mama, although they also know my mom. And wow, my lovely aunt, Auntie Matabo, she's my pillar of strength as well. One of the people that when I, in the family, I know that there's always that one person that you can rely on, that one person who understands you, who is in sync with you. So the love, I'm so blessed. They are my pillar of strength. It's a safe place for me. I know there's someone I can call when I'm in pain. I know there is a place called home, and I love them so much. Thank you, Mama Kholo and Auntie Matabo. I love you so much, and so I'm very grateful. I'm overwhelmed.
And they say it's true about us, jaaka batswadi ba re o gotleletse a kry-a course ya ena ebile a kry-a le monna and a kry-a le ngwana. Those the last two are very much important. Re a di bona tša di-course, re a di bona tša di-profession, it's okay. Ile sekolong re a bona mara setlogolo se kae, and
yes.
And it's until that age where you get to understand where what I had an accident, I think it was 2018. I had a horrible accident. When after recovering, I said, hey, can you imagine? Somebody's not serious about dying, but who's serious? As parents.
Yeah.
I think it's about, we appreciate our children. We see what our children have become. And like somebody said that, grandchildren are a crown to their grandparents. And like John Maxwell even said, he hopes, life had a way of skipping a generation, and referring to, I wish it was possible because they really take you back and forth, into everything. But when a grandchild comes, they've got a way, they are so lovable, they are so perfect, in fact. I have my grandson here. I had him right here, right now in the studio. I had him walking at the door of the studio saying, Koko, he knows I'm here. And I know if he comes in here, man, my studio is messed up because he was in here. But you have the patience, you have the love, you don't have a problem. And then we have perfected parenting.
Okay. No, just allow you to have that moment as the grandparents, but it's a gift of life. It shows how gracious God is and how powerful. It's just magical. But yeah, no, it's a big one for
It's a big one.
Batsadi.
Yeah.
You'll never win that battle.
No. In fact, that's why Mama o dirile khosi ya ena go tlela a fetsa. But ebile a kry le monna and ba kry le ngwana, you know, I know then Mama is happy.
Yes.
Let's go. Okay, I see aga Facebook and when na Buti Mosaic Musa Malungani Adonai Street. Thank you so very much, but Musa, and I trust that streams of life yile kumbeni butomi bya bantu ile kukhutazekeni kwakula ngakho I see Dr. Julia Nxumalo she works on social development, Dr. Julia, so you know I think you're talking to them. They know exactly what you're talking about. Marie Katekom Simang, thank you so very much. Sheila Sebula, thank you, family. Thank you for joining with us as we celebrate the life of one of our own, and that is MBALI, MISIMEKI, a woman who is making such a great difference. Since MBALI, you spoke about, you know, social work or any other profession beyond just being employed. I think that's very key, more especially in South Africa today, where we talk of joblessness and we have many professionals or graduates who are unemployed. What must we do? Where do we turn the knob to being job seeking and now be job creating? Because that's what you have done. You know, you worked for social development, but you then switched into private practice. In fact, you even launched your own business. Where do we start? And I even wait until I retire and then nkaba entrepreneur. Kore ha ke retire ke gona ke gopola hore na nka rua di kgomo nka dira polase. Gante batho ba bangwe as young people ba thoma o dira taba ya diruo, taba ya ulima, you know, nna ke emela hore ha ke retire. Where do we turn the entrepreneurial knob so that we become creators of job and not only seekers of jobs?
Yeah, I think firstly we also need to acknowledge for the not everyone is gifted with being business minded, and there is nothing completely wrong with you being comfortable working 9 to 5 or being in an organization and not starting your own business. But I think with what is happening currently in our world, in our times, with the transition, I mean, we're in the 5th industrial revolution now, you know. You know, that we are revolutionizing. So when you decide to study whatever course or a career, you also need to think about the sustainability of that job. You need to think about, with the skill set that I have, what more can I do? I mean, with the socio-economic issues that we have currently in South Africa or globally, we know that a single income is not sufficient for a household. You know, you find people having to work more than one job, or others having to work long hours because the cost of living is just too high. You know, there's a whole lot of expenses, or you're the only one who's working within a family and you're taking care of so many people within your household. Therefore, financially, you would need more money. And it's during those times, or literally when you're deciding to choose a career, you must look at what is the sustainability of this. Looking at the socio-economic issues within a country, within the nation, how is it that I can capitalize on my skills and monetize what I have? So it's beyond you thinking about the now, but you also think about the future. How sustainable is this? How can I create employment? So really, it will also depend on how you are wired, because other people are better business people and other people are better employees. For the business to be functional, for the business to be productive, you need good employees as well. I might be good at running a business and not necessarily good at being just a normal employee, and vice versa as well. So during these difficult economic times, we need to become creative. Look at the gaps, find the niche to say, okay, for an example, I'll use being a social worker as an example because that's what I do. What are the niches that I find within my society? There's services provided, however, there's a gap between mental health services that are being provided. I'm a social worker, I've got a skill set, I'm not fully utilized. What is it that I can do privately that can benefit others at the same time bringing me money? The other thing is, remember that you didn't go to school to obtain your skills just for the fun of it, but you equipped yourself so that you can also equip others, improve living conditions. Social workers normally say they want to be change agents in communities. But how are you a change agent when you're only limited to a certain environment, doing only one specific thing, not utilizing your skill sets entirely? For instance, social workers are good writers. Social workers can speak. Most of them can speak. Social workers are good advocates. But you would find that within your workplace, you're only utilizing few of your skills, and you're not utilizing your entire skill set. Whatever skill set that you're not utilizing, you can actually use that to be entrepreneurial about it, to create more income for yourself, or to employ other people. I normally say I believe that there should be a social worker in every organization.
Yes.
Because in every organization, there's individuals that we're working with, and people have got psychosocial issues. People have got occupational issues, workplace issues. There's no reason why you cannot put together your proposal as a social worker and pitch to say, I'm offering counseling services, I'm offering family services, or based on the need of that environment, you can provide that service. So you need to think when you're deciding on a career, what is the sustainability of it? Will this be a need tomorrow? Will this fulfill the vision of the country? Will this breach the gap that exists already in society? There's some careers back in the days, probably during your times, Muruti, there were the 8 careers. But now we are learning with the transitioning of the times to say there's other new careers that are developing that are more relevant due to the times that we are living in. So we are no longer limited to space. We can now work remotely. So you also need to think, my job, probably your career limits you to an office. However, your services are needed globally. How can I monetize this? You may have to take additional skills over and above what you've studied. Over and above social work, you need to take a business course so that you are, equipped with business skills and business acumen so that you can be able to monetize and become an entrepreneur. So we need to be broad-minded, open-minded. I know most of social workers tend to think, this is all I can do. Social work is the only thing that I know. But there's nothing that's stopping you from studying in other fields to equip yourself, to empower yourself so that you can be able to monetize your profession.
Sosibali, I'm sitting back here because at the back of my mind, I've heard over the radio and television, most social workers, crying out, we don't, government is not employing us, we need employment. And the truth is that, like you said, almost every organization needs a social worker. You talk schools, we need social workers. But even in our correctional services, I once checked with one social worker who worked much in prison with inmates, and because we call them normal prison, but correctional centers. And for correction to happen, I think the services of a social worker are very critical. But we don't have enough social workers, even in correctional services, which I think it's one of the reasons why some of the offenders come out not corrected. They come out and they do the very same thing. And that, of course, is not my space, but that's the reality. But another thing, I'm concerned about those social workers because they are seriously mara ha o ntse o bolela gona bjano kore I'm sitting back, hey, but we lecture she ya di social worker tse di tlhokang mishumo di na le mishumo e mentši mo ba leng gona. But like you said, e ka ba taba ya gore how do I package myself, how do I equip myself, how do I make sure that I create a vehicle that is going to carry this skill of social work that I have, which also can generate income. You are right when you say not all of us are entrepreneurial, but given the circumstances of what we faced now, it's important for us to make sure that we shake ourselves and think differently. I want to believe so dynamic and percent compartment engwe entrepreneurship and then the way you are dressed, the way I am dressed, that's marketing, that's entrepreneurship. And I'm how we regulate why we both so and all these things the next thing even though we see a commission. So I think the mentality no, I'm not entrepreneur. One way or the other, the way you dress up, you package yourself in a particular way, and you look at yourself, you say, this is me, this is good, and then you walk out in life. I think if we can also look at that. But before that, MBALI, the blessing of having a job, in learning some of the processes, the systems, and things like that. Because I normally say to people, hey, employment is like internship, man. You are given an opportunity, to test the working environment. And I remember in a second that I adopted, a young lady was given an internship, for Nakonyan.
Yeah.
But Nakonyan abakwishishure, as mereko mara ke exposure and ke tshwantse ke sa le mola ke tshwantse ke ithute dilo tse dintsi. Number one. Sa bobedi ke tshwantse ke tsebe gore batho ba batlang mo ke ba saver ba ka ba di potential employers ka osana. And se sengwe ke gore le nna ke a equipa so that ke be le tsebo ke be le kwishisho ya the working environment. I remember we needed a schedule that circuit because we needed to analyze the results so that we are able to do an intervention. The second manager called the office and said, please, Bold Moves Foundation guys are there, and if you could give them this and this and this. Just like that. So when you look at that, and I'm saying this, MBALI, because what you are saying, honestly, it makes me look at social work as one very powerful, profession where you are equipped. COVID, re bolela ka dilo tse dintsi tse di gateletsang megopolo ya batho. Re tlhoka counseling, re tlhoka the empowerment here and there, and you guys are just well positioned. But somebody who do what do we learn?
Yeah.
For example, mengwanya ne mebedi meraro ye o leng wa bereka ke eng se o leng wa ithuta sona se se dirileng gore o bone gore you know what go na le tse dintsi tse ke nang le tsona a ke di berekishe mo. Maybe I use my writing skill only, I compile reports, researches and all that, or maybe I do my counseling and the like, but I'm not doing this and that, because by the way, you are also an author, and we are going to zoom into your book also, like you said.
Okay.
A social work, it's a writer,
It could have happened.
I trust that this.
eka vayingiseri vo rhandzeka va Vision FM hi mi tivisa leswaku n'wamune na sonta hi ta mi tlangela vunanga bya gospel inyana so mi ready na 1 2 3 4 strictly gospel. Gospel music eka Vision FM. Somewhere away. Utakateka, ukatekile. Hiwo munhu un'wana na sonta ntsena eka Vision FM.
So Kemi Sirwa Vision FM. You're listening to Vision FM, the voice of hope and the source of knowledge. Nongonoko streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. Kasi mina mina yena MBALI MISIMEKI. Khomeleni bayingiseri kube na nkimbo wa network a tivisa ku incini swi nga yi wisa hi xihatlanyana kambe sweswi tlhele swi ka yima futhi ku kota ku va ya amahlweni lava ku khensa swinene ku va hi karhi hi famba swin'we hi khomeleni swilo swa endleka kwala moyeni hi nga swi tiveki swa ku i yini kambe lexi xi tsakisaka hileswaku se hi swin'we hi karhi ya mahlweni ku streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. Sis MBALI, when
Yes.
heard that glitch, I was saying re ithuta eng ha re sa shuma, you know, jaka modumedi o tla dumelana le nna gore lentswe la modimo le re ruta gore tshepagala ka se seng sa gago, then
Yes.
tla kry se seng sa gago, you know, that is
Definitely.
be faithful with that which is not yours. You know, I always say to people who steal at their workplaces, I say, you know what, you are setting yourself up for failure. Wena ka se thome kgwebo ka gore wa tseba gore motho wa utswa, and se se dirang gore o tsebe gore motho wa utswa o tseba ka wena gore wa utswa. So please, you are investing wrongly. Ntho e o e dirang ka o sana e tla o thibela ditsela mara ke eng se re ithutang sona re ntse re sa bereka ene nna re tshwanetse re bereke ka tsela e efe gore re kgone ore by the time ke move on or by the time ke kry-a another employment, I did not just render a service, but I acquired some skills, some exposure, some that I can take home. Ke eng se re tshwanetseng re se lebelele or re se kreye or re se dire ga re ntse re sa bereka batho ba bangwe o mmušong o kae kapa kae, you know. I speak my Setswana as kopane le Sepedi le Khelobedu ke ka tsena le khona na mo.
No, yeah, we are diverse like that. So it's very important how much they got to remain ethical, you know, have that ethical conduct, whether or not you feel appreciated or not within your working environment. And now from my personal experience, waking up every morning, going to work definitely teaches you to be disciplined, you know, and then it teaches you that no one exists in isolation. We are all interdependent on one another. And one thing that I've learned as well is you cannot as an individual know everything. So no one is more important than the other, but we definitely need each other to make the system functional. Always ask for help. If you feel there's something that you're struggling with, ask for help. If you have a skill that you can impart on someone, duplicate yourself, pass on that skill as well. You know, if you cannot be trusted with a little, you will never attract more. And one thing that I've noticed is, if you work well with people within the environment, whether your colleagues or servicing the clients, if you do it with diligence, if you do it with commitment, if you do it with honesty, the rewards are much greater. I always believe that you need to leave your mark everywhere that you go. Whatever you do, you must do it with excellence. And you may not be rewarded immediately, but definitely after you've left, your absence will be felt.
Yes.
Your impact will be seen. And someone else will come and say, wow, you know, when you were assisting me with that company, I realized that you do this so well. And at this pointing moment, I need that person to assist me with that service. And that's how you gain opportunities as well. So as we work, we learn to become disciplined. We learn to honor, appreciate, and value our jobs, what we do. We learn that we are interdependent on one another as people. And then there is no wasted opportunity. Whether you're a cleaner, whether you're just doing your admin, there is no wasted opportunity, because in that job that you're doing, there's a skill set that you are gaining. You're learning how to communicate with people. You're learning how to structure things. You're learning how to reach out. In the process, you are networking. You're developing networks. You're collaborating with different individuals on different projects. Later on in life, you can always go back to those people. And as well, I've learned, don't burn your bridges.
True.
Whether you've got your PhD or you've got 5 degrees, and your manager has only a certificate, don't burn that bridge, because tomorrow you will need your manager in a project that you're working in, or your manager will be the one recommending you, writing your recommendation letter to your next manager or to a bigger project that you need to fulfill. So never think too much of yourself or think that you better than everybody else, but rather impart the knowledge that you have. You know, it has to be a reciprocal process where you give and you also be open to receiving. What I've learned as well is, if you're not open to learning, then you will never grow. And when you are open to learning, this is when you realize and notice different opportunities within your environment to say, oh, okay, wow, there's this new thing. Let me go on to it. And the most difficult thing, be allowed to be utilized within an environment. If there's a need for someone to wipe the chairs, don't say, but I'm a social worker, I cannot wipe chairs. In you wiping a chair, you are learning a discipline of managing events coordination, for an example, to say, before a meeting, this is how you set up the place. In preparation of this thing, this is how, you know, the preparations that goes before everyone comes in, finds a perfect place, the chairs must be cleaned. So there's a whole lot of things that you learn by being in the workplace.
Sure. There's this other a trainer. I'm telling you, I just asked one question, and what you said, it's a mouthful. It's really a mouthful. And these are some of the things that people miss while they have the blessing of employment, you know, doing even those things that are not in your job description, because who knows, you might have to open your own business. And when you start, you know, it will be crazy for a mother who is expectant. You're still pregnant. But people will help you. And that is, there are times even in business where you have to be hands-on, where you have to be able to set up things. And even if you have employed people, but it's you who knows. You know, it reminds me, years back, I released one of my pastors into the ministry, and I visited him a thoma kereke bjano. When I visited him ka mo kry-a antse a koropa mo fase, a koropa bjano a re, hey moruti, yeah, ka re no o se kwa belaela, batho ba o cleana ba gona mara they are inside you. So
of course.
before
Of
they come
course.
out, you do it. You do it. It's just like that. You'll not believe it that even as a pastor, one thing that I love is a clean bathroom. I hate a very dirty bathroom, because you go to the bathroom, you don't expect a situation where you don't know what to do. To me, a bathroom, it's a meditation room. When I get to a bathroom, I may not come out now. I'll be busy. It's either I'm studying, a lot of things are coming. So it must be there. It must be clean, so that, so even as a pastor, early in the morning when I go before everybody else, I'll be checking all the toilets. I'm going around checking, until one of the pastors said, but Murut, you cannot be the one checking this. You know what? Until somebody sees and until somebody understands how important this is to me and to everybody else who comes to the church. Do you imagine somebody is at church, they're enjoying the service, the next thing they want to go to the bathroom, and here comes the horror. They may not come back to church. Right. Mara, because nature will call your name at any time. You want a bathroom that is clean. So all those, they teach us so that mara batho ba bangwe, they are also obsessed with job description. It's not in my job description. It's not, while it's an opportunity to learn. You said something very, in fact, you said it so, you gave it, it's a brutal fact that you must allow yourself to be used, because more don't use. But you know what? It will come handy one day. And of course, the people that we're serving, we don't know. They may connect us. The issue of not burning bridges, it's in no time you realize, the very same supervisor, the very same boss that I hated, now he must recommend. And sometimes, even when you have left the organization or the department, and they see a client that needs service, they know you, they've used you, they've seen how resilient you are, how committed you are, how diligent you are, and they say you better go to so and so. So honestly, that's powerful. Let's just take this little commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue in this wonderful training.
Okay.
Riperilli bayingiseri va Vision FM, balandzeri va Pastor Strike aka Facebook. Mina Basani Maina Ogamkabele. How are you know MBALI? MBALI is my former colleague who happened to be a friend of mine. MBALI is one reserved and also outstanding individual I have ever met. I met MBALI in 2017 at Gauteng Department of Social Development. Me and MBALI used to sit together on the research panel task team. We were part of the engineers within the social development regional office as research task team members. You will not see MBALI absent without notifying you that she won't be available. You will not see MBALI late when we are to have meetings for our research panel. MBALI will always present her tasks, and that captured me. It made me to fall in love with MBALI, because I'm one person who does not want to work with people who need to be pushed, who need to be reminded on task, but MBALI will be doing all that we have agreed about. So on this day, my friend, I would like to tell you that put more punch. We want to see you in different avenues. We want to see you in like the dream space where you have been dreaming. And we want to see you representing women out there, being the shining example to the rest. And MBALI, I know you are very resilient into achieving things, and I wish you all the best in your life. Continue shining, my friend. I love you big time.
Vision FM 88.5 and 101.7 megahertz. Vision is power. Eka vayingiseri vo rhandzeka va Vision FM hi mi tivisa leswaku N'wamune na Sonta hi ta mi tlangela vunanga bya gospel ntsena. Mina ni vona ku inyana so. Mi ready na? A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Strictly gospel. Gospel music, it's a Vision FM. Tlangela tinsimu leti nga ta tlakusa moya wa wena. U ta kateka, u katekile. Sonta ntsena eka Vision FM.
My name is Octavia. My surname is
Wow.
Malongo. I am the former supervisor from DSD, Department of Social Development, supervising Miss MBALI, MISIMEKI. Our journey started, I think it's 3 years back, when MBALI joined the department as a social worker. We were still in probation, me and her, working with children that are in conflict with the law. I can write a book, MBALI. She is a model, and I used to tell her that she is a model of what I would love to see all SSPs following or presenting themselves. MBALI is a very professional person. She keeps to instructions, she keeps to time frames, and she does her work. She does her work perfectly so, and with whatever that she was doing, you would have questions and you would get answers, duly investigated answers, So with her, I knew which I'm expecting a very good report. I'm expecting good comments from her, and she was this person who's open to criticism. And her relationship with me was more of professional because she is a professional person, In terms of socially, icon. I couldn't get MBALI the way I wanted to know her socially. She's a bit reserved, she keeps her things to her things. So she maybe her other colleagues that were open that would sit with her, share things with her. But with me, it was more of a professional work. And that's the relationship that we maintained until she resigned from the department. And I know, and I would encourage them to say, guys, don't limit yourself, extend yourself to others, extend yourself to the profession, extend yourself, because only God knows, with that, she was able to get the job that she got. And though I was disappointed that I'm losing a good worker, I was happy for her, to progress, to go. Because there is this stereotype out there that says our profession, it's a calling, so there's no much in it. And I wanted to believe MBALI has proven a lot of those stereotypes wrong, because she was able to extend her scope. She was able to extend herself to a point that she got a better job, and it was a profession. She worked for it. She's still excelling wherever she is. I want to believe that. It was a long time in Akulumina, but I want to believe that wherever she is, she did not let me down, because her first work was with me, and with during that period, she excelled. She gave herself all out. And my wishes for you, MBALI, continue to be the asset that you are. Wherever you go, keep on, extending yourself. Don't be, I've never seen you to be a selfish person in terms of like knowing you, you know. So continue the good job, and the sky is the limit, as they say. So with that, I wish you all the best wherever you are. And yeah, probably maybe 3 years to come, you will be my employer. Who knows? Yeah, let's keep up the good work. Bye.
You know, listening to
Wow.
Basani talk about you and listening to your former supervisor is exactly
Yes.
what we just said, you know, and what a powerful word she said, you know, and that's those are words of wise people who knows that, you know, there's who sees potential and who also believes that you can grow so much that you can even be create employment for them, you know. It might sound like a joke, but she's right, you know. She believes in you, she has seen you, and she takes pride in that. She has been she had an opportunity of supervising you, and you can tell that if there is an opportunity, if they are clients, she will surely refer them. And that's exactly what you were saying, you know.
Yeah.
And you listen to Basani talking about punctuality, talking about diligence, talking about not being a wheelbarrow type of a person, pushed, but being taking initiatives and things like that, doing reports. So, you know, so what you just said, it's confirmed by your colleagues that this is not just lip service, this is your life. And that I think that's what opened doors for you. But what can you say about what Basani and your former supervisors are saying as
Wow,
we celebrate this evening?
I'm so humbled. Wow, Miss Malombo. I used to call her, my former supervisor, Miss Malombo. She stretched me, you know, punctuality. I remember when I started working, there was a day where I was late, and I think it was just once or maybe on 2 occasions. Then, you know, we would do our quarterly reviews, and, you know, and she literally wrote it down that I need to be punctual. And I told myself, I will never be late again. If there's challenges or whatever, I'll always communicate, you know. So part of who I am as a professional is because of the great work and the impartation that I got from her, because she's professional. And I opened myself to learn from her. She's very good with what she does, and you know, she does her work with diligence. And I told myself, there's so much that I can learn from Miss Malombo, and I'm intentionally going to expose myself to her and learn whatever it is that I feel is appropriate and that can grow me as an individual. And I'm so glad. I'm surprised that, you know, she also recorded a voice note. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm very grateful. So the thing that I said about building those positive, sustainable relationships, if life happens, I'm gonna go back to her and say, I need assistance, you know. But yeah, working with her, professionalism, being ethical, being passionate about the profession as well. She's very passionate, and I learned from her. And Basani, we call her General because, you know, she's hardworking. I think we clicked, and we resonate well. We get along well because somehow we have common goals about our profession, about our goals as individuals. And it's very important to always associate yourself with people who will feed your vision, people who will challenge you to grow, people who will challenge you to do better than you are doing, and people who are also doing better than you so that you can also learn. So I was always very intentional with the people that I exposed myself to. It wasn't only my peers, but people above me that I saw that I can draw from these people and learn from them. I'm very grateful, you know, that I met Basani, and it's through Basani that I'm on this platform as well, you know. So building those connections, collaborative effort, that network, it's really very empowering. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful.
You know, very empowering indeed. You know, when she wrote it, it was maybe once or twice you got late and she wrote it down. It was easy for you to pick up an offense. Yeah, she's on my case. You understand? Where sometimes we miss it. Hanti, she's demanding this particular level of commitment, of dedication. Yes, you are not a piece of wood. Sometimes things will really unforeseen will happen and you will be late. But communicating, very important. Rather than one being late, nothing is said. And then when they reprimand, then mutu are so offended. Yeah, it's on my case. And all those things. I think from the conversation that we're having, in a particular place, which then I take home type of qualities which will help me in my own business or in my own practice. Let's just quickly talk about medical social work services.
Yes. So
let's just touch that.
Okay, so currently that's the space that I'm in. I'm in the medical field. I'm a transplant social worker. So I work with liver and kidney transplant patients, both pediatric patients and adult patients. So what I do assessments for them and relevant social work intervention. Pre-transplant, peri-transplant, and post-transplant, So I would meet with the families, meet with individual patients to a certain degree, meet with donors, and do the relevant assessment. And then based on the assessment, then I will provide an intervention that needs to be done based on their needs. And part of what I do as well is research on the impact of whatever services that they're receiving. Or if I find out that there's something new that I don't know, I would go find out, just equip myself and grow. It's a very needed service within the medical space. I think as social workers, we tend to limit ourselves. Like I said, there is so much that we can do as social workers. Literally, there isn't a field that we cannot work in. Within the medical environment, people go through traumas, people go through medical procedures that affect how they function as human beings. Some procedures can result to added social issues or psychosocial issues that need an intervention of a social worker. So if we study further, if we equip ourselves, if we sell our services to the corporate sector, to different spheres of influence, to different divisions or career sets, then we will be able to find that gap and fit yourself within whatever environment that you want to go into.
When you say this, and truly, it's a very needed service. Now with COVID pandemic, when you get your results, you get them through an SMS. I just spoke to one of my daughters at church who, by the grace of God, she's just coming out of the COVID or from the being infected. She's getting cleared. She said, when I got the results, I saw myself dead. And that, I think, it's a contributing factor to the death rate of our family members and our nation when it comes to dealing with the pandemic. You get an SMS tells you are positive. It does not matter where you are, what you were doing.
Yeah.
And the next thing, you start developing all the symptoms. Anxiety. And all these, I see it really, like you say, as medical social work services becoming very, very much handy and very much important. And with that, I want you to maybe put it together with also working with recipients of particular organs, the counseling, the donors and the recipients. what have you found to be very, very much important, which you'd love for us to know as the general public when it comes to organ donor, even just blood donor, because these are some of the things that most especially we as Africans and also as religious people, different religions, would not even want to hear or would not want to think twice about it, maybe until I have a loved one who need an organ donor. So
yeah,
starting with most especially a donor and a recipient, having to counsel or having to sit and give social work support or services, what is your experience and what would you then advise us? Re ka dira eng? Re bolela gona bjana wa kwa ba re go tlhokega madi, re kopa batho ba neele madi. Madi aka ke neele madi aka. And then nako e nngwe ke gopola ngwana o mongwe in one of the stories ba re the younger sister o tlhoka either it's a kidney or so. Bjano ba re and then when o compatible o ra o ka monella at least o tla phela. And then the little brother said, okay, it's all right. Bjano ba dira procedure. Asalo munyane le ena ba dira procedure le ena ba fetša. Bjano after that wa tsoa. Bjano o re a tsoile bjano a le revived. O re bjano can't take your warning. because mo go yena donating an organ to the sister in his mind, just to think of that, or this boy was ready to die for the little sister to live. But sometimes because of lack of knowledge, lack of exposure, are operate mo tulong ewe marabaneshu haba tlhoka madi haba tlhoka the organs aidsing. We wish somebody will donate, and we don't think of ourselves as donors. How can you help us with that?
Yeah. So with that, it needs a session on its own so that we can unpack.
Just a crash course, Jana.
I'll try to just summarize it. I think within the Black community, it's still taboo, organ donation, and when you think about it, I would say, think about it as the gift of life. To say, when you are sick, you go to the doctor to get medical treatment. When you are dehydrated, you drink water so that the hydration, the nutrients. So with organ donation, it's very sensitive because people have different belief systems. There's different people from different religious groups, and some people don't believe in donation, others do. But I would encourage people to honali the organ donor foundations, where people can also go onto Organ Donor Foundation website to register. For an example, there are living donors whereby you can donate your organ, or you can donate a piece of your liver. It's not even your whole liver. Like it's an example like a liver, because I work within that environment. Liver and kidney donation specifically. So they would say maybe there's something wrong with my liver. I get a diagnosis, whether it's liver cirrhosis, or in simpler terms, my liver is not functioning well. And then we do know that liver has different functions in the body, and then once it is affected, then it cannot do what it's supposed to do. And you cannot survive without your liver as an individual. Then you will fall sick, be called into the hospital, and you are told, MBALI, you need to do a liver transplant. So, and then of course, a donor. So it would either be a living donor, whether it's someone who's related to you or someone else that you don't know, friend, family, or whoever who's willing to donate. They wouldn't take from a donor, they wouldn't take the whole liver a donor, because then you won't survive without your liver. So they will only take a portion of liver from the donor by getting it into the recipient. So your body is so amazing. Your liver regenerates itself. It will grow back into a portion of a normal, full, healthy liver, instead of having two lobes, a single lobe, but it will still function as per norm, compensating for the function your liver continue to regenerate itself. Similarly to the donor, it will grow back to a certain percentage and it will function as per norm. So that's the information we need to give our families, our communities. Like you have said, most people don't know about this until something happens and there's a need for an organ. So if you're a religious person, or if you're a Christian individual who is against that, that's still fine, but you need to start thinking of it differently, to say, but this is a gift of life. Probably that's the reason why you are still alive, to help someone else to survive. Think of it as donating blood. You know, think of it as going to the doctor and you are sick and you get medication, you become healed. So after that, you are able to live your normal life. And so what I've noticed is, as my role within that multidisciplinary team, because I'm in a multidisciplinary team of doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, it's important to have that social support. Like I said, no one exists in isolation. So if you have the social support, you will be able to go through that process. Transplanted. You will need a care partner. Emotionally, you need support. Physically, you need support. Financially, you need support. So you cannot go through the process by yourself and in isolation. And that's where the role of the social worker kicks in, to check, does this person have adequate social support? Before the transplant is even done, it's a contraindication if social support is high thing, because then this individual won't function. They are prone to mental health illnesses, depression, anxiety, and all of that. So it's a very interesting field. There's so much that we learn. We need to take care of our bodies. As a spiritual being, your body is carrying you. As much as we're taking care of our spirit, of our soul, reading the word, praying, connecting spiritually, we also need to take care of our bodies. Be mindful of what we are eating. Be mindful of what we're doing in the environments that we expose ourselves to, because then we need our bodies to carry us to live and to survive. So organ donation is normal. You know, as much as retaba, it is scary. It's not a little operation, but it's something that's doable. And like I said, think about it as the gift of life, saving somebody else's life or helping someone else, whether you know them or you don't know them. And then, I'm sorry, there's also, I spoke about the living donors. There's what we call cadaver donors. These taken from people who have passed on, or people who are brain dead. Literally, when you're brain dead, then you are no longer surviving. So they would then take organs from people when they were alive. They consented to donating their organs after they pass on. So then the families will be approached and they will consent as well, and then they will take that organ to save someone's life. But it has to be someone who passes on in a hospital, because then they need to keep the organs functional before they can give it to you, and they need to make sure that the organ that they're giving to you is a suitable, healthy organ as well. So maybe you may not be comfortable doing it now when you are alive, but you can go to the Donor Association and register to donate your organs once you pass on. So because once you've passed on, there's no use for your liver. You know, so they can remove it. If it's a healthy liver, give it to someone who needs it. Yeah,
and you don't need it in eternity. We have a spiritual body that side.
Exactly. So you won't be taking your organs with you. You know, you won't be taking. So yes.
But that's very valuable information. Like I said, you know, when it's about me donating now, it's a different story. But when somebody, my loved one, needs that organ, then it's a different thing. I think you're right. It's something that we need to start thinking. And I think a platform like this, where you share with us this information, is very much important, because we must contribute in saving lives. We must contribute in helping somebody. And I think it's a very noble thing. Wow. I must be honest, Bali, I don't know where to press, because I press this side, we go that way. I press here, we go that way. But honestly, that's why we wanted to stop you and say, you are making a great contribution. You are making a difference in the lives of other people. And we celebrate that. We appreciate that. And we thank you for that. And I would love for us, you know, as I look at our time, I would love for us now to look at some of the things that now you do. You're talking about, you know, maybe let's touch a little bit on self-care, mental health support, and advocacy, you know, looking at that. But before even we do that, I would love for us to take a short commercial break. MISIMEKI Vision FM, Oyisele Vision FM, the voice of hope and the source of knowledge. Nongonoko streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Striker, MISIMEKI Vision FM. Nifumele swako mina na wena ile kujonde nisokare emadendena namuntlha loko afamba swin'we na makwerhu MBALI MISIMEKI. I'm telling you, it's so amazing, it's so beautiful.
Thank you for the opportunity for putting explain about MBALI. MBALI umazi sisebenza sonke profession. MBALI, it's a social work by heart, not only by profession. MBALI, it's an old. She wrote a book, Rise Above the Circumstances, of which it's an interesting book. MBALI, it's a phenomenal woman, strong woman, very classy, smart, intelligent. Angazi ngingabala ngithini wonke lamagama la good umbali uzothola, punctually, professionalism uzoyithola kumbali. Umbali, it's those people mawufuna ukusho into personal le wazi ukuthi you can't share with anyone but ku easily share nombali. Umbali ufisela wonke umuntu into enhle. Enye into about umbali akanawo umoya la khona ufuna wonke umuntu ukuthi afike. And uyathanda ukuthi uziphushe ukhule as naye enza for life yakhe. Umbali engakusho kuye, I don't have an advice that I can tell you, but into engayisho ukuthi whatever you do girl ukwenza kahle, and I know one day ukuthi angavula ishow yakhe like egruma abantu besifazane the way angakhona, the way angasabi ngakhona. So what I would say, I have a sister, a mentor, a social work, of course, yes, and a friend. Thank you. And Oksendela to stay in peace. Thank you.
Namsheweta Impweni, Mina Brenda Madileke, social work, aka Department ya Social Development, Child Protection Unit. I am a child activist. Nihlangane na MBALI 2018, ekari prepare social work month. Nibone kutiyimisela, nibone system dingeriko, nibone munhu loyi anga reserve but loko afanele a execute ti task ta yena eti endla anga ri na ku kanakana, eti endla hi ku hetiseka. Ni ri MBALI qhubeka ya mahlweni, mitirho ya wena hi vonini hato yi vona ku ya mahlweni, swikulukumba leswi u nga hi khomela swona, and be the MBALI that you want to be. Na Ken's.
Vision FM seyitwala kwanza nokubuyisa ya emahlweni yiminika washi byo hlawuleka 24/7.
Instead of Vision FM from Success, so Nongonoko streams of life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. Karlo hina like comments what minute nasipa hour ya kume is about 60 minutes before 10 o'clock. And MBALI, when I said we are going to be together for 2 hours, I knew
Yeah.
it's a little bit frustrating, but you'll realize even now that time is not on our side. You still have a lot to say, a lot to teach us. But what can you say about Mama's Kosan there and Sesi Lapaya, Brenda?
Brenda, wow. My heart is full. I'm so emotional. I end myself as Sister Kupindi. Wow. You know, it feels great to know that what you do is appreciated. It's good to see the seeds that you're planting grow. You know, I always try and duplicate myself wherever I am. I always try and share the knowledge that I have with the people around me, obviously, who are open to receiving from me. And Pindi is one of those people that I worked with. And like she said, we would share things. And the ultimate goal is to see each other grow, is to see each other reaching our goals and doing well in life, and not just for ourselves, but for people around us, for the community, for South Africa, you know. So I'm very happy and wishing her all the best, and I know she will do well. Oh, Ceci Brenda, I think one of the hardworking individuals as well that, like she said, we worked together on a project 2018 World Social Work Month, and then we were part of the task team conducting an event for World Social Work Day. And, you know, I met quite good, influential people. I've learned a lot from her as well. You know, she's very radical, and yeah, I'm very happy to have crossed the path with them. I'm very grateful and humbled by their words.
Lovely, lovely. And I would love to say to our friends on Facebook, thank you so very much, even for your comments, family. Really appreciate, and send those comments. MBALI will have an opportunity to go through them. And also those who will be viewing this broadcast, they will also have those wonderful comments. I see Sujauke saying, Sis MBALI, you are a powerful woman indeed. You are called in this profession. In God, a true definition of Abigail. You know, my wife, Pastor Joylene, she has got Abigail Women Empowerment. So the ladies, they call themselves the Abigails. And, you know, I'm going to negotiate your invitation to the Abigails. And, you know, people say, talk of you being reserved and the like, but I think they never pressed the right buttons, because there's a lot that comes out of you, and we really, really appreciate. And let's just briefly, so that we can be able to sum up, briefly talk of mental health, more especially in a time like this where we're dealing with this pandemic. Tabaya, you know, mental health, I think it's a very serious issue. And what is your advice? This time, I just want you to advise us, you know, because we spoke about anxiety, we spoke about stress, even grief, you know, because in the process, we lose our loved ones to death through the pandemic. And about to a isa le nako ela ya gore re kgona go tshedisana wa kry-a gore re kgona go dula baruti ba kgona go tla beke kao fela ba counsela ba encourage family ba bolelele family gona bjano kore o ema o le noši, and nako ya go preparela for the funeral is very short and all that. How do we cope, and what do we do when it comes to our mental health? Because I believe this is one area of our lives that is so overwhelmed in times like this.
Yeah, so it's very key to take care of our mental state, so that we have our mental well-being. And what I've experienced lately is there's a lot of cases where people suffering from anxiety due to what is happening around. You know, there's this uncontrollable worry that people are carrying. Once you test positive for COVID, you don't know what to do. But I'd like to say, normalize speaking about what you're going through. Normalize. I know people are not comfortable speaking to people, but find a professional, someone who's trained in that field. Find a social worker, find a psychologist, who can be able to assist you. Utilize your EAP services, your employee assistance programs within the workplace. If you're someone that's working, utilize those services. If you are unemployed and you're going through distress, or you feel like you need to talk to someone, the SADC has free services. We've got Live Life, Google those services freely available to you, closest to you as well. And there's virtual consultations at the moment as well, where mental health professionals are providing. You no longer have to travel to get to them for your own safety. You can consult virtually like we are doing now. You can be speaking to your counselor like this. Exercise. Sometimes all it takes is for you to be away from what is stressing you and indulge yourself in what takes you from your worries. Taking a walk, listening to music, do something that makes you happy, or do something that is not harmful to you, that takes you away from the harmful circumstance that you are in. And the other thing I would say is watch what you are eating. Sometimes the food that we're consuming also affect our mental state. If you're eating a lot of starch, if you're eating a lot of sugar, you are affecting your body. It's imbalancing your hormones, and it results to you not having that mental vitality that you need as well. And then I always say your mental well-being, it's not just a singular thing. It's your holistic well-being. If physically you are good, if spiritually you are okay, take care of your spiritual needs as well. You need to be spiritually healthy, spiritually safe, to balance out your holistic mental well-being. But I would really like to emphasize, speak to someone, speak to a counselor, because it's also very taboo in our Black community to seek for help, to seek therapy. People feel that if you go for therapy, there's something wrong with you. So we need to do away with that stigma, because we are all equally affected by this. And we really need to talk about it. Talking helps. It's therapeutic. You are offloading, and the more you talk, you're able to process your emotions. You are able to identify whatever areas that you're struggling with. And most importantly, you are able to find the help that you need.
Yes. Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful. And, I'm also tempted, because on Thursdays we have a conversation where we handle different topics. Now I'll have to talk to Tata MISIMEKI so that you visit us on the conversation also.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate that's very, very much important. And I don't want to leave this out, because I'm talking to Mrs. South Africa, semi-finalist 2021. Yes. South Africa, semi-finalist 2021. Tell us a little bit about this title and about what it entails. Not title and asim abo Miss South Africa, Miss South Africa. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah. No, so Mrs. South Africa is it's not a beauty pageant in a traditional sense. Firstly, it's a women empowerment program for married women in South Africa, who some of them are parents, some of them are not yet parents, but it's essentially married women. So it's a platform where we meet as women from different spheres of influence, where we are given an opportunity to become the better and the best versions of ourselves. Transitioning from being a single girl into becoming a wife, and now you're a career woman. Some of us are studying as well, and now you must be a mom. So sometimes we focus a lot on taking care of everyone around us, and we neglect ourselves, we neglect our dreams. So this is a safe platform where women can become the best versions of themselves, where you can be an entrepreneur, where you can be a mom, where you can be a student, where you can manage your household and be able to take good care of yourself and impact the community. The most important thing is about realizing that it's not just about you, but South Africa as well, those around you, and positively impacting your community. So it's a beautiful journey. And fortunately, I've made it to being a semi-finalist. The journey continues, and we still need to go through judging before the finalists announced. That will be on the 20th of August this year. So primarily, I'm embarking on this journey to advocate for mental health, to make mental health accessible, because we know that it's very expensive to speak to a therapist. And if you don't have money, you don't get the best service. But I want to make that accessible. With my profession, I want to put social work on the map. To say, as a social worker, you are not just a social worker, there's more that you can actually do. I don't see why we cannot open up our own organizations as social workers. Why can't we open up our own multidisciplinary practices? For instance, we've got drug addiction, we've got so many social issues. Why are we not coming up with our own NGOs, employ the unemployed social workers, go into communities, impart our knowledge and transform our communities? So that's what I'm advocating for. I'll be advocating for social justice as well. And then humanitarian aid. You cannot preach to people who are hungry. Yes. For instance, you cannot go into communities, talk about mental health issues when people are impoverished, when people are hungry. So in everything we do, we also need to share what we have, share the bread, have that compassion to take care of people. Then we impart skills and, for sustainability and for the program to continue. Wow. So I've learned to, I'm taking too much time. I've learned to become the better version of myself, to dream again, because when I became a mom, my focus was literally moved away from myself to my daughter and to taking care of my family. But as an individual, as a married woman, there's a purpose that I need to fulfill on this earth. And that's the reason why I'm alive. And through Mrs. SA, the pageant, I'm slowly getting back into it. I'm actually realizing that, wow, I've got a skill that I never thought I have. So you're being exposed to different trainings, to different things, really, that you can impact your life in the lives of others. And lastly, you're in a network of women who are very diverse, who are directors of companies. Some of them are doctors, some of them are leaders, some of them are religious leaders. And you're exposed to these women, you interact, you learn from one another, you collaborate to achieve certain things, because you can never do it by yourself. You will always need partnerships, which is very important to be more impactful as well. So yes, it's a beautiful platform. It's a beautiful platform for women to grow. We call it thank you. We call it the sisterhood. It's the sisterhood because we develop relationships and we become more like a family as well.
Wow, all the best. Advocating for mental health, very powerful. We wish you all the best. And, it reminds us of this year's Abigail Women Empowerment Conference. And I was, for the first time, Pastor Joylene invited male speakers. She said, but this time I said, okay, this conference, I'm inviting men. And I was invited. And, I spoke on Abigail, be kind to yourself. And I said, look, you are kind to everybody else. You serve everybody else, but you leave yourself out. For an example, in the house, when you cook and dish to everybody else and then eat later. I said, please, this time around, cook, eat. And after ujile, ask everybody else for you know. Because when you look at in a plane, they will tell you, look just above your head, there's an oxygen mask. In case of this and this, the mask will drop down, and they say fit it to yourself before you start helping others. So, but you know, the Abigails, the ladies, you help everybody else, their husband, the children, and you leave yourselves out. And you're right. You know, when you say it helps us, you know, to be able to focus also on ourselves, which I think is very, very much important, because you're giving too much, and it's important for you to be able to focus on yourselves. Just want to take this time and Nekore Ekabang Seriva Vision FM, Makweru Kevlon, Matebla, Uyimekulunga, Nanongonoko, Dohisa, Kasin Labakensa Snen, and Fumele Sok, Midon the Sotala, Eka Makweru, MBALI, MISIMEKI, Kwalahon Labaka, Kutikan Carlo, Kevlon, Tekatin Tampo, Kwale, Adonai Street, Kasi, Aka Facebook, Ita Amathonikari Hetisa, Nongonoko, low one streams of life. It's a mekatena system Bali MISIMEKI. In God's name. Okay, on Vision FM, I've released my listeners because the other programs must be continuing, but we're still live on Facebook. On my page, we are live on Bold Moves Radio and also on Bold Moves Radio, YouTube and LinkedIn. So we continue, and and still streams of life on Vision FM. And then I see here Pastor Jaylene, the leader of Abigail Arise. She says, thanks, Mrs. MISIMEKI. You are a powerhouse. We have learned a lot tonight. Yes, to Pastor Strike's proposal. Oh, yeah, it's given.
Thank you.
And then Abigail Arise. Abigail is ready for you. Thank you so very much. And Dr. Julian Numal is saying, I'm so inspired. Thank you, Pastor Strike, for bringing such an awesome and a brilliant lady. Thank you so very much. Dr. Numalo, she's with social development in our province. And Pule Matladi is saying, thank you, Pastor, and to Mrs. MBALI MISIMEKI for the powerful program. Very informative and powerful, very true. And Suchauke coming in and saying, thank you, Pastor, and Sis MBALI. Thank you so very much. I must be honest, these are the Abigails, and they are listening, they are following, and they are excited that one of their own, it's really lifting the flag of the Abigails, and that's why we celebrate you, Sis MBALI. But you know, you realize that I spoke and then I was concentrating on you, but there is this man who is such a blessing. One thing that I know as a pastor, when you see a woman shining, when you see a woman, flying high, a married woman, you must know she's got a very understanding, a very loving husband, because the husband is not a fire extinguisher. He's not putting off fires, but he's fueling fires so that you are able to stretch yourself. You are able to. And the kibela ko mamuhulu hari, udirle kosa, akotella afecha, akrele munna, akrele mwana. Let's talk a little bit about Mr. MISIMEKI. Tatana MISIMEKI. How did you meet? Because that, Basan will tell you, I always say, I'm concerned of our young ladies, great professionals, they do well in their career. You see the future here is powerful, but somehow they miss it and marry somebody who is not for what they are and what they stand for. And the next thing, they shrink. The next thing, they die or they retire in life while they are still alive. But that's why I always honor, I always respect men. When I see you, I see Mr. MISIMEKI. When I hear you, I hear Mr. MISIMEKI, and I can tell what kind of a man he is. But you are the one who's better positioned to tell us about this gentleman, Tatana MISIMEKI.
Tatana MISIMEKI. Wow. I must say I'm truly blessed to have a husband like him. We met at UJ back in the days. I'm not sure if a mega bus is anything, but I used to commute from Pimville because I used to live go Pimbili Mamholo. So I would commute from Pimville to UJ Kingsway campus using a mega bus. That was the shuttle bus that was available for the students at UJ. So one day I was traveling in a bus, minding my own business, and here he was. So we used to have standing more busing when the bus is full and the other ones will be standing. So I think he was standing, and then just next to me when someone else got off, then he then came, sat next to me. He introduced himself, and then due to the limited time, I took his numbers, or we exchanged numbers somehow. And then he phoned me later on. We met for a couple of times, and I did not know him at all when I first saw him. But apparently he saw me around because we also from the same area. So when he tells me he saw me before, then I discovered that we actually go to the same church. We belong in the same church. He's serving God Gang, and I'm also serving. But for some reason I never saw him before. So I was at peace because we are under the same covering. We are equally yoked. I won't have troubles. I won't have problems when it comes to that, you know. Long story short, we continued, and I remember speaking to him, asking him, okay, so what are we doing? This was in 2011. I met him 2011 when I was a student go UJ undergrad. What are we doing? And he was like, no, I'm just going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. Then that's the end of it. I cannot be going with the flow. And he came back and he's like, okay, now I'm moving forward. Moving forward. What do you mean? Because he wasn't straightforward to say, no, I'm here, we're getting married and whatnot. And I remember we are 4 years into our marriage now. So we literally planned our wedding 3 years before we actually got married. And that's when I realized that he's got the same values that I have. We've got the same vision about what a family is. I mean, a house that prays together stays together. You know, I like that scripture. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's one thing I was not, and I'm still not willing to compromise. To say we need to be equally yoked, we need to serve God together, and we need to have a mutual vision. You know, I need to submit under his vision, and it's a vision led by God. So it's a safe space for me. He's my number one supporter. I remember when I launched my book, first book, Rise Above Your Circumstances, in 2015. We were not yet married at that time, but he was there throughout, from the launching of the book to the preparations. He's the one who's always cheering me up. You know, he's the one who's supporting me. He's the one who will remind me to say, no, go ahead and do it. Even when we got married, I was still pursuing my master's degree. He cheered me up. You know, he would sacrifice his own dreams for that moment and focus on me so that I can excel and do what I want to do. Every step of the way he's there. You know, he would pray with me, and I believe he's praying for me because you can see the results, and when we're having conversations about it. So he is that man who I can trust, whom I've entrusted with my life, and whom God has blessed me with. He's such a blessing, like his name, you know. His name, first name, blessing, but MISIMEKI.
Blessing. Okay.
Fiso. The blessings Fiso, you know. He's Fiso, Takato. I don't know. Let me just notice it. But yeah. So he's very supportive, very understanding, selfless. He's a selfless husband. I know our daughter is safe when I'm not home. I don't need to worry. There's certain things that I don't need to worry myself about because I know he's there. I know I won't be compromised if he's there. You know, he always has the best interest, my best interest, and the best interest of a family.
Wow. I could tell. Honestly, I could tell. And then I see Sheila Sebula saying, so inspirational. Thank you, Pastor MBALI. Thank you so very much. And then we are summing up. And then as we sum up, I will end by looking at your books, and maybe I'm trying to download everything. But since we're going to have the conversation, I think some of the things we'll put it up for the conversation. But let's maybe take this commercial break.
Hello, Maris. I don't think that we really need to introduce ourselves. However, you can hear it from the voice that it is your biggest cheerleader, Nolu and myself. There's a lot that we can say about you. However, we've just been given a few minutes and we'll try to make good use of those few minutes. And the things that I'm about to say to you, these are things that are visible in your character, things that you can see on a day-to-day basis that indeed this person is this person whom we're about to describe. When we speak about a born leader, that is who you are. When we speak about a go-getter, someone who pushes for her dreams, someone who pushes the boundaries, that is who you are. When we speak about someone who cares and loves for her family with all her heart, a super mom to Nolu, that is who you are. A super fragilistic, expialidocious kind of wife. That is who you are to me, even if I can still say myself. When we speak about someone who cares for the community, someone who loves to help people, that is who you are. Indeed, you are one of a kind. One in a zillion, should I add. I don't know if there is that kind of a currency, but if there is, you are one in a zillion and you deserve that currency. One thing that I also like about you is that you're elegant, and that is something that makes you unique in my eyes. As you continue to pursue your dream for the Miss SA crown, continue to persevere, because along the way, there might be rocky roads, but I know that you are well equipped with the word of God. You are well equipped with knowledge, and you will rise above those circumstances that you might face along the way. We love you, my babies, and continue to be an advocate for mental health and people's well-being, because that is something that you are passionate about, something that you are well-versed about. Continue to share that knowledge, because many people need to hear that in this day and age. There's many things that people that are going through right now, and to hear that word of encouragement, something that which you are good at, may you share it and may you impart the knowledge upon people. And myself and Nolu will continue to cheer you, will continue to support you at all times. We love you, my babies, and well done once again.
Wow. On Facebook, I see one of the men here, Mr. Mandla Chow Chow, he says, men are not trash. You are right. Brass Fishy has just represented us beautifully. And thanks, Mr. MISIMEKI. Thank you so, so very much. And then he says, what an inspirational story. You are right, Mr. Chow Chow. What an inspirational story. And I honor, I respect, in fact, Mr. MISIMEKI, who believes in their wives, who also support their wives' dreams. One other thing, so MBALI, which I believe, while you submit yourself to your husband and to make sure that you submit under his vision, but that atmosphere must become conducive for your dreams and for your aspirations, to flourish. And this is what I feel from Mr. MISIMEKI, that he creates that environment through his vision to make sure that you also are able to stretch yourself. It's not a situation where, I submit a flofa, two visions here. We don't want divisions here. Vision, but men who are real, they believe in empowering their wives, supporting their wives, and allowing their wives to become exactly what they want to become. Ke kule a bua le sekgowa se sengwe kore ke a kwa gore se ke sa bolelela Mbali se as unleash we anywhere se unleash wa fela a bolela le Mbali. What can you say about what your husband and your daughter are saying to you tonight?
Wow, thank you so much, and I love them so much, and I'm blessed to have them. Muruti, you know, like you were saying, he's an incubator of my vision and a supporter. It's we're not in this marriage and competing against one another, but we are supportive of each other's dreams, because we do understand that ultimately what benefits the other will also benefit the other spouse, you know, and we in this together, and it's a ministry that we need to journey together and help each other within whatever it is that we are doing. So
Lovely.
I'm blessed. I'm so happy.
Yeah, no, I think the night is fast spent, but you know, like I said, the 2 hours is nothing. Now we try to add 15 minutes on top of it, but let me be generous to release you, and I release you in this fashion.
Evening, my name is Kelebkhile Mapela. I'm Mbali's elder sister, cousin in a way. She's my aunt's daughter. Mbali is a loving person. She's always a go-to person. She looks after her family and her society in all. She loves what she does, and she's God-fearing. That's one thing that I know about her. Everything that she does in her life, she puts God first before anything. And she's a firm believer of hard work pays off. She has worked hard to get where she is right now. She has had struggles of her own, as everybody else goes through struggles, but she managed to, through the struggles, she managed to make it in life. She rose above her circumstances, as her book says that she wrote, that rise above your circumstances. She managed to do that, even though it was hard. No teenage in a world has ever had it easy. Getting into a teenage stage is always it's always hard. It has its hardships. It has things that you cannot run away from, but she managed to get through those things. She has never been a groupie. She has always been her own person. And what I love about her is that she's never been a groupie. She has always stood firm for what she believes in. She's always been there for herself. She's always been there for her siblings, her family. And I love that she puts herself out there to help the society and make a difference in the society. And I love that she doesn't limit herself. She doesn't say she can't. The word can't is not in her vocabulary, ever. It's never in her vocabulary. What I can advise Mbali with is that she must continue with her hard work, never take anything for granted. She must forever be the loving, kind, and smiley person that she is. Continue to be a great mother and a good wife. And she must never forget that God is always by her side. And we as a family, we love her and we always by her side. Through thick and thin, we will always be there with her, step by step, and I'm wishing her good luck with her Miss South Africa journey. Hope she makes it to the finals. We love you, Mbali. Bye.
Wow.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7. Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa, nakupenda sana.
Hi there, my name is Tato Makhatli. MISIMEKI is my aunt, but whom I view as an older sister. She is one of the most beautiful women that I know. I mean, inside out. She is very giving. She's brave, a go-getter at heart. I'm extremely proud watching her grow into the woman that she's become today. She's a God-fearing woman, a woman of stature, you know, with all her achievements. There is so much that I have learned from her. Not only did I find God through MBALI, but I found a mentor through my sister as well, you know. She's taught me how to face life with a brave heart, as though life is an adventure, you know, as though life is a journey, and not just a journey, but a journey with God. MBALI is also so hilarious. She's one of the funniest people ever. There's never a dull moment with my sister, and I'm sure she would agree to that. She's an amazing wife and mommy to my niece, which I love so much. She's a phenomenal social worker and psychologist. She's a great author and server in our church as well. We are really, truly blessed to have you in our lives. My message to you, MBALI, today would be congratulations. You did it. You made it. Your hard work is paying off, and you are stepping into answered prayers. There's so many things, so many dreams, so many hopes that we just spoke about, and I'm here watching you achieve everything. You know, it's such a motivational factor for me, and I don't take that for granted that you're in my life like this. You are literally our ancestors' wildest dreams. I know your mom would be so proud of you. So you know what, keep on going. You've got this, but most importantly, God's got this for you. He's got your life in the palm of his hands, and it is evident in everything that you're stepping into right now. I just want to leave you with a scripture. It's Jeremiah 29, verse 11. And it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and the future that you desire for." And those are God's promises over your life, over our lives in general. And you are just that epitome of God's promises. So we love you, sis, and all the best on this journey for Mr. South Africa. You've got this. God's got this. Love you.
Wow. This is how tonight we say to Sis MBALI, thank you so very much for coming through to Streams of Life on Vision FM with Pastor Strike. What an empowerment session. You have been such a blessing to us all, and we thank God. There's a lot that we did not touch, and I'm happy that maybe I got tempted to go to your books, but I did not, because honestly, I would love, even as the Abigails have confirmed, that is confirmed, I would love maybe to host you for the conversation, and we're going to dedicate it to the Abigails. We're going to talk entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about your books. We're going to talk about even Miss South Africa, you know, the pageant. You know, you said, you highlighted something that I think the Abigails will really love to be part of it, and to get more, to understand more. You know, that's about a me time. You know, Abigail, be kind to yourself. But we just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so very much, and thank you to Mr. MISIMEKI for giving you for allowing you to spend 2 hours 23 minutes with us.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Sis MBALI. What would you love to say about your cousin, sister, and your yeah,
my sisters?
Yeah.
Wow, I love them so much. I love them. You know, Tata is the only person who laughs at my jokes. So yeah, thank you, sis, to both of them. I really do appreciate your presence in my life. It's very impactful as well. As much as they learn from me, I also learn so much from them. And I just want to say to my family, thank you so much. And I love you all, and all God's blessings to all of you. Yeah.
Sis MBALI, thank you so very much. It has been such an honor and a privilege to host you on this show. It was very refreshing. I was so tired, but there are those guests who, when they come on, they've got a way of making you refresh, making you feel strong because of the content that they are dishing, the energy that they have. It just become contagious, just like that, and you feel strong again. Thank you so very much, and the Lord bless you, and the Lord prosper you, and please. Now this is ambush because I want to ask Mr. MISIMEKI to please again release you for us on Thursday from 19:30 to, that is 1 hour. I bet you that will be 1 hour, but unless if you manifest, because you've got a way of manifesting also. And but thank you so very much, and the Lord bless you richly.
Thank you, Pastor Manganyi. Just before I go, I'm really grateful for this opportunity as well. It's a great platform, and the work that you're doing with us as well, it's really impactful, and I'm very much grateful for this. Yeah, and Thursday, it's a date.
Thank you so very much. Really appreciate this, Bali. And a blessed evening to you and to Baba MISIMEKI and your daughter. And thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Morudi. Keep up well.
Hallelujah.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Streaming 24/7. 24/7. Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa, nakupenda sana.